Tonight on Elon Local News.
Our Gary Grumback looked into what rights students have on and off campus.
One student took a class project above and beyond what was expected.
I was seeing a lot of people walking around with Wabos, which is a reusable water bottle, with stickers on it, all these cool things. And I'd be like, oh, where'd you get that sticker? Where'd you get that water bottle? That kind of stuff. And a lot of people had cool stories behind it.
And later in this show, Elon students will get to meet the new face of fraternity and sorority life.
All that and more.
Elon Local News starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to Elon Local News. I'm Sky Cowens.
And I'm Jackie Pascal. We start tonight with international news that has tugged at the heartstrings of many Americans. Some viewers may find this image disturbing.
But since the picture of this young Syrian refugee dead on the beach went viral, some major figures in the world are stepping up.
Our Paul LeBlanc is live in the studio to tell us more. Paul?
Thanks, Jackie and Sky. Just days after a picture emerged of a 3-year-old Syrian boy washing up on the Turkish coast, asylum seekers are migrating from Hungary to Germany and Austria after being delayed for days. Pope Francis has called on Europe's Catholics to take in one refugee family each, a move that would shelter tens of thousands. In his speech, the Pope stated, quote, "The gospel calls asking of us to be close to the smallest and forsaken, to give them concrete hope and not just to tell them, have courage, be patient." And in domestic news, President Obama has announced a new executive order that will require federal contractors to offer union workers up to 7 paid sick days a year. Obama's executive order would only affect union workers, but the law is part of a larger effort to offer paid sick leave to an estimated 44 million workers that don't have access. And in the technology world, Apple is expected to announce a revamped Apple TV, a new iPhone lineup, and updated software during its event in San Francisco on Wednesday. Apple will stream the event live to iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, and Mac units starting on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. That's the news happening around the world. Sky, back to you.
Thanks, Paul. Now for news on campus, our Gary Grumback looked into some laws that everyone needs to be aware of.
Thanks, Sky. You've probably seen them a lot this year. Elon Town police officers are stepping up patrol during the first few weeks of the school year. There was a saturation patrol last weekend where Elon police officers were on bicycles, pulling over students on their way to off-campus houses. But what's the law? First, the basics of alcohol law. It is illegal to be under the influence of alcohol if you're under the age of 21. If you're in a motor vehicle, you may not have an open bottle of alcohol anywhere within the inside of your vehicle, even if the driver is sober. And it is unlawful for anyone to consume malt beverages or unfortified wine on any public street or sidewalk within Elon Town limits. All 3 of these things can lead to misdemeanors on your criminal record. Now remember that an officer on a bicycle has the same abilities and rights that an officer has on a patrol car. Now police are stepping up patrols on the weekends due to the recent crime in the area. While many find the campus and surrounding areas safe, it's important not to let down your guard. I spoke to Elon 5th-year Jack Halloway, who was held at knife point earlier this month on his way to his off-campus house.
They got out of the car, surrounded me, asking me for my money, everything I had basically. I got aggressive immediately because it was more instinct took over. I've never been in a situation like this, and so, I mean, I didn't know how to handle it at all, and I didn't think I could run because they were surrounding me.
Halloway was not injured, and he says all he lost was his wallet. Halloway says he has learned an important lesson.
I'm obviously going to change my behavior in terms of walking alone late at night, of course, not, especially when intoxicated. I still feel very safe on this campus, and there's so much support that I've received and so many people reaching out to me and providing that support and trying to make it a safer place. So it's good to know that Elon's on top of that.
So as a recap, just to be reminded, be careful while you're out there and be aware of your surroundings while you're out on the weekends.
Thanks, Gary. That's great advice.
Upcoming 26. Last week, our Brianna McClellan gave us a breakdown of the current frontrunners of the Democratic and Republican parties for the upcoming 2016 election. Tonight, she is back in the studio to discuss candidates' thoughts on many students' worst nightmare, student loan debt. Brianna?
Thanks, Jackie. the many words college students hate hearing, the word that is truly cringeworthy, starts with the D, involves a lot of dollar signs. It is student debt. The $1.2 trillion college debt crisis is an important topic for many of the presidential hopefuls. In August, Democratic Party frontrunner Hillary Clinton shared her plan on how students can pay for college without needing loans, aka avoiding debt. So what is this plan? Mrs. Clinton proposes new spending by the federal government so undergraduates at public colleges can pay their tuition without loans. This comes at the price of $350 billion over 10 years. Now, this is a lofty goal considering she would need the support and approval of a currently Republican-led Congress. On the opposite side of the aisle, many critics say the Obama presidency is to blame for the increase of student debt. In response to Clinton's proposal, Republican Party hopeful Jeb Bush tweeted an image saying, 100% the increase in student debt under this Democratic White House, Hillary Clinton mortgaging the future of college grads for 4 more years. Now, research conducted by PolitiFact.com proves that student debt has increased 86%. Bush himself has not shared a platform on student debt, but considering his focus on the economy, it's only a matter of time. Jackie, back to you.
Thanks, Brianna. And there's an election happening right now on our campus. The freshman class fall 2015 elections are going on today and tomorrow. Only freshmen can vote, and the positions up for office are president, vice president, senator, treasurer, and secretary. All positions are contested except for treasurer, with 10 people running for freshman class president. You can check out the candidates and their speeches on our website at elonlocalnews.com, and freshmen can vote online at the link that was sent to their Elon email.
And when we come back from the break, we'll introduce you to an Elon student who's making a splash to save the environment.
Sun is out. I'll have your Phoenix 5-day forecast right after the break.
Welcome back to Elon Local News. So Jackie, I don't know about you, but I've been sweating just walking to class this week. It has been so hot, and I am super excited for fall.
I'm so excited for fall. The humidity has been off the charts this week. I'm so mad, and oh man, I need sweater weather. All right, we're gonna toss it over to John Curtis right now to see what the weather looks like this week. John?
Thank you, guys. Well, today we had temperatures in the mid-80s and some pretty heavy cloud cover. But tomorrow it looks like we're going to be getting a little bit of sunshine. So with that, here is your Phoenix 5-day forecast. Tuesday, it looks like it's going to be partly cloudy with highs in the upper 80s. Unfortunately, that good weather is not going to last. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are looking like cloudy mornings with afternoons filled with thunderstorms. If that wasn't bad enough, those thunderstorms are looking to last through Saturday. Now, how about that humidity? Unfortunately, that too is going to get worse throughout the week thanks to the afternoon thunderstorms. Temperature-wise, at least, it looks like we'll be in the mid-80s throughout the week. So to sum it all up, it looks like tomorrow is going to be your day to wear the short shorts and cutoffs, because come Wednesday, we're all going to be in rain boots. I'm John Curtis with your weather. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, John. That hot weather will have you reaching for your water bottle, but before you toss it in the trash, I found one Elon student who might make you think twice. As U.S. landfills overflow with discarded water bottles, one Elon student is working to cut back on the harmful plastic. It's called Wabo.
Pretty catchy, I would say. Like, you'd say, oh, that's sweet Wabo, man. And it like works because like it's kind of an intuitive word. So like if I was like, oh, that's a cool Wabo, people kind of know what you are talking about, even if they hadn't heard that before.
And the idea all started as a class assignment in Australia.
We had an assignment when I was in Australia when I studied abroad there, and it was like, write about a social impact idea, and after I laid it out, I was like, oh, I could do this, so I might as well try it.
Grippo's campaign sells stickers promoting Wabo, and the full website was just released last week. Since then, it's been getting international attention.
There's some from Tasmania, so that's pretty cool. I know there's one from New Zealand.
Grippo's eco-friendly campaign is more than just reusing water bottles. It's about telling the story behind your Wabo.
I was seeing a lot of people walking around with Wabos, which is a reusable water bottle, with stickers on it, all these cool things. And I'd be like, oh, where'd you get that sticker? Where'd you get that water bottle? That kind of stuff. And a lot of people had cool stories behind it.
As the campaign gains attention and Instagram followers, Grippo hopes to see the Wabo brand as more than just stickers.
If you want everyone to use like reusable water bottles, you got to make them cool.
Grippo's story behind the bottle campaign is growing, and it sounds like we'll be hearing the name Wabo more often. You can follow different stories of Wabos around the world by searching the hashtag MyWabo or following the Instagram @MyWabo. And another Elon student found a different way to help clean up our planet. While on an assignment for her summer internship, Elon Jr. Nicole Molkentin discovered the nonprofit organization Charity Water. The organization aims to provide clean water sources for underdeveloped countries. And Molkentin brought that awareness back to Elon. Sunday afternoon, Molkentin and her friends had their first Charity Water picnic, where friends discussed the importance of clean water. Molkentin doesn't know exactly what will be next for Charity Water, but she's looking forward to the future.
What a lot of people do is they pledge to do crazy things. Their saying is the craziest thing we can do is nothing. So I don't know if we'll do a picnic next. I want to bike down the coast of California next summer, and so maybe I'll do that for Charity Water and do it in the name of that.
Another group doing good in the community is almost ready to open. I took a trip to Graham to find out how one farm is working to make a difference in the lives of women. Amongst the 8 million plus acres of farmland in North Carolina, 13 acres in Graham are dedicated to transforming the lives of women.
The farm will serve as housing as well as employment for women who are coming out, returning to the community from prison.
Executive Director Tanya Jisa founded Benevolence Farm in 2007 after reading an article in the New York Times about the high incarceration numbers in the U.S. Troubled by the lack of re-entry programs in North Carolina, she decided to do something about it.
Trying to think of a creative way to incorporate food and farming and the healing properties of nature into a program.
Last year, more than 2,500 women were released from North Carolina prisons. Approximately 60% of women released from prison are rearrested, and nearly a third return to prison within 3 years.
The women will work about 20 to 25 hours a week on the farm doing that kind of work, and then the other part of the week will be in more therapeutic services.
The farm is almost ready for residents. Jisa hopes to house 5 women by the beginning of 2016.
To actually identify their strengths and to start onto a career rather than just a job, so that they can sustain themselves and their families longer term.
And although Benevolence Farm can only help a small number of women at a time, Jisa hopes that the model will spread.
It can be easily duplicated, and we're sharing that information with as many people as are interested in starting up similar programs.
Benevolence Farm currently works with community partners, including allied churches, bringing groups to the farm for educational sessions. Sky Cowens, Elon Local News. For more information about the farm and upcoming fundraising events, visit the Benevolence Farm Facebook page or the website benevolencefarm.org.
Folks are using their food for more than just eating. That story coming up.
View with the new head of sorority and fraternity life. All that and more coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Our Meredith Stutz checked out a market where they're selling more than food.
Farmers and customers of the weekly Burlington Downtown Farmers Market set their alarms early to partake in what is now in their 4th season. But this farmers market is different from what you might expect.
Goat milk soap.
Put on a bag.
These are probably the best red peppers you'll have.
Located at the corner of Front and Spring Street, the market, as Club Express director Mieke Toland explains, provides a crucial meeting point for the community.
I mean, when you come to the market, you're not just picking something off of a shelf and bringing it home and eating it. You're connecting with the person who's, put that labor of love into growing that great produce for you.
Here at the Burlington Downtown Farmers Market, folks of all ages are invited to start their Saturdays by shopping for produce and goods and even getting to meet their local farmers, making it quite the family affair.
Everybody has their jobs that they do.
Kristi Thompson and her family, including her 7-year-old daughter Audrey, have been coming to the market since its inaugural season as T5 Farms.
Well, we have 5 in the family, and our last name is Thompson, so yeah. And then I came along, and they never changed the name, except for sometimes they call it T5 plus 1.
While Mom and Grandpa are working the table, Audrey loves to visit Mieke Toland. Toland runs a local art studio and comes to the market every month to create a one-of-a-kind craft.
It was fun to use produce, which is what most people think of when they come to the market, is thinking about fruits and vegetables and flowers, so why not involve that in our art process.
And with all this talk of vegetables being used for fun, has Audrey had a change of heart for eating her greens? Well, sort of.
I like them a little better.
Meredith Stutz, Elon Local News.
The Burlington Downtown Farmers Market will be open until the end of October every Wednesday and Saturday. For more information on the market, the vendors, and what craft Toland will feature next month, check out elonlocalnews.com.
Where the McEwen School of Communications parking lot once stood now stands a pile of dirt. So where can students and teachers park? Well, according to several students and teachers, parking for the comm school hasn't been that bad. Even without the McEwen parking lot, students and faculty still have plenty of places to park their cars. Areas like the Oaks or the community church parking lots are available for teachers. Commuter students have to park in Danley, Colonnades, or the Ellington Health Center. So students will have to leave a bit more time for their daily commute. But Tom Nelson, a professor in the School of Communications, says parking only seems to be growing.
There might actually be more parking today than there was 5 years ago. We just don't perceive it because it's switched. It used to be much more adjacent. The parking is less adjacent, but more available.
If you aren't sure what to do after college, you're going to want to keep watching because one Elon student is taking a different career path. Senior Cole Harbur plans on getting his diploma, but he won't be getting a normal job. Nope, he plans to leave Elon on his motorcycle and ride it around the world solely on the kindness of others. That means once he graduates, he will not be buying any food, gas, or housing. It will just be him, his motorcycle, and the open road. He got the idea after he saw an interview with his now mentor, Leon Ligotitis, about his similar trip around the world.
Right now, I believe in kindness. I believe the world is kind innately. So I'm going to rely on the complete uncertainty about where that connection will lead me.
You can catch Harbur on ELN Morning this Thursday for an exclusive interview and a sneak peek at his upcoming trip.
The new director of Fraternity and Sorority Life has already been shifting the way Elon students look at Greek life, including changing the name from Greek life to Fraternity and Sorority Life. But that's not all Dan Faill is doing.
A 34-year-old bit of a geek, it's okay.
Dan Faill is the new director of Fraternity and Sorority Life.
Again, I don't want to get caught up in title. I would much rather just be, you can call me Dan. I think most of Dance Marathon exec now or Elon-thon exec call me Dan the Man. I'm okay with that. It's all right by me,
But who is he really?
Pop culture and going to see a movie and nerd out and really geek out and talk about a movie. And I'd much rather kill 20 minutes, 30 minutes talking about my thoughts on Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice and how much I don't know that that's going to do well in the theaters versus, the Marvel universe or whatever.
Besides his love of movies, Dan also considers himself an artist.
So a lot of the artwork that I used to have in my old office was all my own original art. So for me, I do love doing art and drawing and those things.
Dan hopes his personality can shine through to the students even when dealing with tough situations.
I just like being honest, and I like being funny, and that's just part of my personality, and I hope that comes across in the student conversations that I'm able to have, that they feel comfortable enough and honest enough to come to me, because I'll go to them if I hear of anything or if I need to talk to them.
Dan is hoping to be more than just an authority figure on campus.
I think once people get over the title of a director, I think that they realize that I'm a person too, and in terms of fraternities and sororities, I'm a Greek man as well.
Dan purposely remodeled the office of Sorority Fraternity Life in Moseley, hoping that more students will use it as a resource in the future. Charlie Budd, Elon Local News.
If you want to talk to Dan himself, he invites students to see him in upstairs Moseley 224. The school back in full swing, it's pretty hard to budget with so much going on, but our Jenna Rohde found that you don't have to spend so much to drive far. Jenna?
Thanks, Jackie. According to AAA, this is the lowest North Carolina gas prices have been in the past 11 years. And with that being said, the Winston-Salem Journal reports that the Triad had the state's lowest gas prices this past weekend at an average of $2.16 per gallon, which is just 6 cents cheaper compared to the statewide average of $2.22 for regular unleaded gas. Now here is how you can save. Take a second and download Gas Buddy. This Pump Patrol app lets you find the cheapest gas in your area. According to the app, you can fill up at the Kangaroo on West Haggard and North Williamson Avenue in downtown Elon for as low as $2.15 per gallon. And less than a mile down the road, you can find the same deal at the Citgo on West Haggard and University Drive. Hey, it might only save you a couple bucks, but it could mean an ice cream with your friends. With your Pump Patrol, I'm Jenna Rohde.
I'm Justin Beagle, and when we come back, you probably know who your starting quarterback is for fantasy this weekend, but for Elon football, still to be determined. That and more next in sports. Thursday season opener for the Elon football team started out sound, but quickly turned into a disaster. The Phoenix offense struggled, only producing 150 total yards, and the quarterback controversy, well, let's just say it hasn't been resolved.
Football is a learning experience, and on a night when the Phoenix was blown out 41-3 by Wake Forest, there was a lot to take in. But one question remains unanswered. Who will be Elon's starting quarterback?
I don't know if we learned a whole lot. At the end of the day, what happens on the offensive side of the day, at the end of the day is coming back to the quarterbacks, and it was pretty evident, you know, in essence, neither guy was able to get a rhythm or a drive going.
No one has felt more pressure over the last 6 months than QBs Connor Christensen and Daniel Thompson. But when it came time to showcase their skills, their performance was far from dazzling.
I didn't feel very comfortable tonight. I don't think I was prepared myself mentally. That's my fault.
Thompson was given the nod to start the game, but didn't find his rhythm in the first 3 series. Thompson was then pulled for redshirt freshman Connor Christensen.
I was pleased with what Connor did, you know, coming in that 4th series. He had good composure about him. He had a calmness about him, and I think he did okay.
Okay, but not great. Christensen went 8 for 14 for 50 yards. Thompson, meanwhile, finished with similar numbers and wasn't afraid to admit his competition had a better showing than him.
He played better, and it's something to grow on, something to move on to.
With 1 game down, it's still unclear who the starting QB is going to be in 2015. But Coach Krosky made it clear he's going to take his time before making the final call.
Until it separates itself, like I said, I am not, and I've said this going back to the summer, I am not in a rush to make that decision. If it's still, you know, once one separates from the other, we will make a decision. Right. But until that happens, we'll manage it the best we can.
The good news for Elon is that they will have 2 extra days preparation before their next game this Saturday at Gardner-Webb. In regards to who will be starting this weekend, well, to be continued. Continue following Elon Local News for updates on this story. Now, football won't return to Rohde Stadium for another week, but there are plenty of other games going on this weekend. Men's and women's soccer look to continue their hot streaks when they host games this weekend. Fresh off a thrilling last-minute victory over North Florida on Friday, women's soccer is hosting Coastal Carolina on Friday. And men's soccer is set to face former SoCon foe Davidson on Saturday. And how about men's soccer? 4-0 for the first time since 2006. And finally, the Elon Phoenix Invitational, held by Elon Cross Country, will be held again this Saturday. Be sure to watch out for freshman Cam Kolowitzki. He is replacing basically Eric Vargas, the entire team from last year. So go Coach Polk in Elon Athletics cross country team. Now that's all for sports this week, but check us out on Twitter and Facebook at ELN Sports. Jackie and Sky, back to you. That's it for Elon Local News tonight.
You can find our stories online at elonlocalnews.com or follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
From all of us here at ELN, have a great night, Elon.